Well, guys, we are back for another episode of the Liberal Asshole Show, episode 141. And what are today's topics?
Nintendo Power World lawsuit update. Mass layoffs begin. Mehdi Hasan destroys Matt Walsh. Zoran Mamdani makes the rich sad. Republicans continue to tank in polls. Graham Planter's debacle and new MAGA civil war begins.
And of course, we're filming this on your timeline, but when this video comes up, it'll be my B-Day. So enjoy being mad, conservatives, on my B-Day. Ha 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 ha. Rage and cope. So, what do we begin with first?
Bold C dilate L plus ratio. Let's get started with this Nintendo Power World lawsuit
and
update.
I just saw it today, and that's why I decided, you know what, let's finally start looking up topics, because I wasn't sure if we were going to do the episode today. So, do you want to read along? Because I posted a link.
Oh yeah, give me a second.
Because it just got updated today. Because for all of you who don't remember, it was September of last year when Nintendo sued Power World's creator about a patent infringement they did and such. And this is the first time I've heard about it in a while and such. And from what I've read on the tag is Nintendo's patent relevant to the Power World case has been rejected by Japan's office for lacking originality. Sounds like Nintendo got pretty much told to fuck off somewhat. Well, we'll see.
Funny. I just find that funny that that's the reason it was rejected. Well, it's probably the best one, honestly. Makes it really hard for Nintendo to counter it.
Well, we'll see. And from what I remember, I don't know how true this is, from what I've heard over the last year, the patent they went after Power World for was the catching mechanic and the ride in Pokemon mechanic that was used in Legends Arceus. Since you can throw because in Power World you can run and walk around while throwing Pal Spheres to catch Pals, and you can ride them too, although any game could do that. I don't know why Nintendo would necessarily want to try and control that. But you got the article up?
Yeah, I've got it up.
Alright, so let's see what they say. Are you reading?
Okay. Nintendo's ongoing legal campaign against Power World developer Pocket Pair has hit another roadblock. A key patent in Nintendo's Monster Capture family, one that sits right between two patents currently being asserted in the Tokyo District Court, has been rejected by the Japan Patent Office. The decision cites a lack of inventive step, pointing directly to older games such as Ark, Monster Hunt 4, Craftopia, Kantai Collection, and Pokemon Go itself as examples of prior art.
Don't you love when Pokemon used to get them?
Yeah, well, that's a good. Well, it's honestly the best. I'll say it. It's the best reason to reject it
and leave Power World alone, Nintendo. And be mad at Power World's amazing. So go on.
Apparently, it's got its own issues. These have popped up recently, but I haven't heard much about it.
For
Xbox players following this saga, and especially fans who jumped into Power World on Xbox Game Pass, this new twist adds even more weight to Pocket Pair's defense. It reinforces the argument that Power World isn't necessarily copying Nintendo, but rather is inspired by and builds upon decades of established game mechanics. Unfortunately, the image is like... There's like 7 different patents, and it's all in Japanese. And it's the right-hand side, first one on the right-hand branch. That seems to be the issue.
Yep, so it's just... It says at the bottom what it means.
Yep. The latest report from GamesFray breaks down the significance of this patent rejection in relating to the Pocket Pair case. If you look at the official JPO patent family chart shown above, you can see how interconnected these filings are. The newly rejected 2024-031879 application descends from Nintendo's 2023 filing, JP7505852, which has already been granted and is one of the patents cited in Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocket Pair. Meanwhile, patent 2024-123560, JP7545191, branches off another granted patent also being used in court. That means this isn't some irrelevant side filing. It's literally sandwiched between 2 patents central to the litigation. If the JPO finds that one member of the patent family lacks originality, it raises questions about the others. As GameFray notes, this sibling parent structure makes the 2024-031879 rejection potentially significant. The same reasoning, lack of inventive step, obviousness based on prior art, could easily apply to the related patents Nintendo is wielding in court.
Keep going.
Pocket Pair's fingerprints might be on the prior art submission as well. The JPO's record shows that a third-party submission was made earlier this year, including prior art that led to this rejection. While the JPO doesn't name who made it, the timing aligns with Pocket Pair's known strategy and its April 2025 court filing of similar evidence. In fact, Game Fray's earlier coverage revealed that Pocket Pair's legal team has already submitted an extensive list of games, from Ark to Tomb Raider to Zelda, Titanfall 2 and Rune Factory 5, all to demonstrate that Nintendo's claim mechanics existed long before Power World. There's a breakdown of the filing. Pocket Pair even cited mods like Pixelmon for Minecraft and Nukamon for Fallout 4 as prior art, arguing that player-created content is also part of the shared creative ecosystem that predates Nintendo's claims. Interestingly, Nintendo's own argument earlier this year tried to claim that mods shouldn't count as prior art, an unusual position that drew criticism for trying to limit what qualifies as publicly known technology. So why does this matter for the Power World case? The JPO's decision doesn't directly determine the outcome of the Tokyo District Court case. That's a separate process, but it could influence it. Judges often respect the technical findings of patent examiners, even if they aren't legally bound by them. In this case, the rejection undermines Nintendo's claim that its patents protect truly original gameplay ideas. When Japan's own patent authority says otherwise, the argument loses credibility fast.
Yeah, seriously. How could you patent a game idea? Like, seriously. Come on.
I know. It's not doing well at this point. In this case, the rejection undermines Nintendo's claim that it's, and the ruling also puts pressure on Nintendo's third-party patent in suit, which, according to previous reports, has already been modified mid-litigation, a sign that Nintendo is getting desperate. What may be relevant is that it was recently leaked that Nintendo may be working on its own Pokemon spin-off featuring gameplay elements similar to Power World survival style. If this turns out to be true, it could explain why Nintendo is pushing so hard to secure broad control over mechanics to suddenly look marketable again. So what happens next? Nintendo now has 60 days from October 22nd, so this will be December 21st, to respond. Nintendo can submit amendments to the patents, claims or argue why the examiner's conclusions are wrong. If that fails, Nintendo can appeal, which would potentially drag the process into 2026.
Remember, this has been going for a year now, people.
Yep, the main lawsuit against Pocket Pair continues at the Tokyo District Court, but is getting increasingly shaky. If more of Nintendo's patents face rejections, it could drastically weaken the case. I mean, their defense strategy is working quite well.
Yep, thank goodness. So yeah, looks like Nintendo bit off more than they could chew at the moment. Like, we all realized how silly it was before, and remember how insane Pokemon fanboys were to try and get Power World taken down? Oh boy, do they look silly now.
There's been a lot of there's a lot of one of those stupid things where it's like you see the love and the hate suddenly go in the same thing at once.
How about you learn to love Power World like I do as a Pokemon fan? It's awesome, people. No, and you need to play.
Just acknowledge it like you've at least acknowledged Digimon.
Learn, and you need to play with me. Ah, it's so fun. But yeah, fuck Nintendo.
You know that I'm mostly. You know what I'm mostly doing with
Raiden and Minecraft.
Yes.
Same here, which we need to get back to our world eventually. It's been almost a year. Ah!
I know.
So yeah.
I know, we need to do that eventually.
So yeah, take that, Nintendo. Hopefully you keep losing and Power World lives on. And such.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, screw them in that regard. Alright, with that one out of the way, on to the next topic.
Breaking, mass layoffs hit as economy annihilates itself. The mass layoffs have begun.
And this is a video Kyle posted earlier today. He was actually doing it live when I was picking topics.
Alright, welcome to the show.
No, I'm not ready yet, Kyle. So I have no idea exactly what's going on, and I haven't mentioned it, but we almost didn't do this episode because I've been so busy with work and NFL and my manga and such. I haven't been paying attention to politics that much. I had to speedrun a whole bunch of stuff to list on here. So let's see what this is about that Kyle's talking about.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having a great day.
Long intro.
24,000. Nestle,
yep,
16,000.
Of course he has to do that. As I've said, make it your own fucking video.
Guys, let's jump right in. So, hate to start the show
video
with such abysmal news, but we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do. So take a look at this. Recent layoffs that were just announced. This is this is apocalyptic, if I'm being honest with you. UPS, 48,000 employees fired. Amazon up to 30,000, Intel 24,000, Nestle 16,000, Accenture 11,000, Ford 11,000, Novo Nordisk 9,000, Microsoft 7,000, PwC 5,600, Salesforce 4,000.
Yeah, probably
Paramount,
from the Nestle's probably getting rid of their security things so they can get groups like Al Qaeda and ISIS to be their bodyguards instead.
And their beloved AI.
Target 1,800.
Yes,
Kroger 1,000.
Remember that
Applied
Nestle
Materials.
is a terrorist organization.
And
that literally work in hand with groups like Al Qaeda and ISIS to guard all their shit.
1,444. Meta, 600 employees. Guys, this is also just the beginning, bro. This is just the beginning.
Yep,
Don't say you weren't warned.
Literally everybody is going to be laid off in the next year.
The fact of the matter is, Trump has obliterated our economy with his stupid trade war, his dumbass tariffs.
Of course, all the partisan hack Republicans will blame the Democrats because they're because the people who believe that are demons.
Good thing I stunned my managers where I work, so hopefully no laying off or firing can happen to me. Ha 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 ha. Because I pull myself up by my bootstraps, unlike you conservatives.
Now the world hates us. The world is moving away from
jealous.
us. Now inflation is continuing to skyrocket. Unemployment is going up. We are on the brink of an absolute catastrophic collapse and crash in our economy. And I think it will make
Trump's
the
fault.
2008 Great Recession look like child's play, if I'm being honest with you. That's where we're at.
Yep.
In fact, they say the AI bubble
pretty much
is
everyone's going to lose their jobs soon.
Than
literally
the
everyone.
internet bubble, and 4 times bigger than the subprime mortgage crisis, which led to the Great Recession. So, not looking pretty, y'all. Really, really not looking pretty. And like I said, this is just the beginning. I mean, I really think we're at the beginning of the pain here. And at the same time this is going on, any other president would be on top of this 24/7, trying to figure out what's going wrong and trying to fix it. Not Trump. Trump, if anything, is doing the opposite. He's trying to hide the data, trying to fudge the numbers. That's why he brought in his own Bureau of Labor Statistics hack to rig the data for him and lie for him so he can shove his head in the sand and go out there and pretend like everything's hunky-dory and everything's swell. That's why, he goes out there and says, we got $20 trillion of investment in this country. Total fucking lie. In fact, we're hemorrhaging manufacturing jobs and now unemployment is
talk to
skyrocketing.
Stephen Miller about inciting violence so he can pull martial law.
And Matt, he can't make good manga either.
Rocketing. But he just
Matt,
lies
he can't
and
make
runs
good
with it. This is what I
anything.
mean
He
when
has
I
to
say
use
he's a
AI.
right-wing post
That's right.
And AI slop hate speech to
Oh yeah, we might need to do
attack his opponents.
next time that I follow, because I wanted to bring this up. We need to probably do a redo of our AI take from months ago, since my views have changed a
This
lot.
is
like
right-wing
that.
postmodernist stuff. But it gets worse. Ready for this? So, Kalshi says that there's a 98% chance of the Federal Reserve doing an interest rate cut. So,
As an
they're looking
update,
to
they
cut
have.
interest rates at a moment like this, which is very strange and very bizarre. Why are they doing it? Well, as Dr. Eric points out here, really bad signal. Normally, you almost never cut rates with rising inflation, but the only reason to cut interest rates despite higher inflation headwinds is if the economy is tanking, worse than inflation rising. And that's the unemployment crisis right now. So in other words, stagflation is here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the worst of the worst economic scenarios, is stagflation. The worst of the worst. Now, at the same time that's going on, remember, we're a month in to a government shutdown, all because the Republicans are saying we are mandating that your health insurance premium doubles, triples, and quadruples, and you have
Because
the
they
Democrats
want them all
going,
to die.
look, you're not going to get 6 or 7 votes from us unless and until you protect the Obamacare subsidies, which would make it so healthcare premiums don't double, triple, and quadruple. And so, for once, the Democrats are fighting, and they're correct to fight. And Trump is using this moment to basically take a sledgehammer to the federal government. Now, they already did this under Doge, so they were going to do it anyway. But one of the things we talked about is that Trump has the legal authority to release the funds for food stamps, the SNAP program, because American hunger is considered a vital issue that, doesn't go with the government shutdown. You can still release those funds. Trump has decided, I'm not going to release the funds, and I'm going to pretend like I don't have the legal authority to release the funds. So 40 million Americans are going to go hungry because Trump's a piece of shit, and he wants them to go hungry. So as he's building his $300 million Great Gatsby, Marie Antoinette fucking billionaire ballroom, the Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom, as he's building that, Americans are going hungry all across this country. Absolutely disgusting, man. Disgusting and disturbing. And at the same time, we also have this. Take a look. Roughly 3,370 flights were delayed across the U.S. on Monday, day 27 of the government shutdown, as more essential workers failed to show up to work. So, what tends to happen if you're not fucking paying people is after a while they go, well, I'm not going to fucking go to work. I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my mortgage. I can't pay my light bill. I can't put groceries on the table. And you want me to show up and work for fucking free? By the way, did you know this? You want to hear something fucking infuriating? You ready for this? So as over 1 million government workers are furloughed and they're not getting their fucking paychecks, did you know Congress is getting their paycheck? And they're not even working right now.
Shouldn't be.
They're not even fucking working.
They should never be paid.
Right? But they get their paycheck. Workers do not get their paycheck. I would be fucking furious. You want to know a way to quickly fix some shit like this? Make it so that senators and representatives also don't get their paycheck. Do that. And then I think we'd probably fucking fix this a hell of a lot quicker. So this is disturbing, but we also have, I got one more for you. Look at this, man. This is a new low. Trump just banned states from being able to wipe medical debt from Americans' credit reports. The Biden-Harris administration moved to wipe medical debt from credit reports. Now this new rule will keep $220 billion in medical bills on Americans' records.
So, also, Kyle, Brian Tyler Cohen, really? Do you remember the scandal we just had recently with him? Are you going to really use him
Brian
as a source?
Tyler Cohen, we now know that he's an agent of the DNC, AIPAC, and the CIA. So he's not good.
So I really would be, question him, Kyle.
This was another example of Democrats trying to hook up the American public and say, look,
so now I have to really be skeptical of this claim you did,
there shouldn't be a thing
for that.
called medical bills. But if they're going to exist, for fuck sure, they shouldn't ruin your credit report. If, you got hit with a big medical bill, surprise medical bill, you can't pay it. You want that to drag down your credit? That's insane, right? It's like some weird social credit score type system which can ruin people's lives. So Democrats fix that. Trump goes in and goes, no, I side with the insurance companies. I side with the healthcare companies. I side with big pharma. I side with big business and the billionaires. Fuck you. Let that drag down your credit score. I don't care. And this is the same guy, remember? He swooped in and saved the day to allow banks to keep charging you overdraft fees. Democrats cracked down on overdraft fees. Trump goes in there and goes, I'm with big business, baby. I'm with the billionaires. Let them rob the American people. I don't care. What the fuck does he care? He's crypto scamming his own supporters. He's worth billions and billions of dollars.
Moron. He's
violating the emoluments clause and being the most corrupt president of all time on a daily basis. He doesn't give a fuck if you get squeezed. He doesn't care about that. And so he represents big business. He represents corporations. He represents the billionaires. And here we are. All the chickens are coming home to roost now in terms of his bad decisions, right? The economy was resilient for a while in that we had minimal downsides with all of the horrible decisions Trump made. But now it's all catching up, bro. Now it's all catching up. Now it's all falling apart. And I think we're in for quite a bit of hurt. And this time it's going to be different compared to other times. Because in the past, whenever there was an economic downturn, the dollar got stronger because were the indispensable nation, the world's sole superpower. Everybody agreed to that. The dollar is the world reserve currency. Now there's a move away from that. So when the economy goes down, the dollar also goes down, right? And when that happens, now you've brought hyperinflation into the mix, something that would have been inconceivable in a country that has the world reserve currency. But now that's on the table. Just like the debt and the deficit are exploding under Trump. It really is. I've said this before. I'll say it again. All the decisions he's making, it's almost like he's trying to destroy the U.S. Now, it could just be complete and utter stupidity and incompetence, which is bringing us to the same place.
Asset.
At the end of the day, it makes no difference because the decisions are the same. And the end result is the whole country's cooked. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
And that's why you should have never voted for him in the first place, you fucking moron.
Exactly.
How about that? You should have sucked up and just voted for Kamala like I did. So yeah, what do you guys say about Trump's stupid ass killing the economy, which we all predicted he would do for how many years now? Instantly, forever and ever?
Yep, not surprising one bit. We knew this was what they were going to do in Project 2025.
And if I get laid off, I know who I'm going to blame, that fat, ugly orangutan. How about that? And all of you are going to cope and deal with it. So now, what's the next topic?
Give me a second. Mehdi Hasan just... Oh, I love this. Mehdi Hasan loves... I love this one. Destroying Matt Walsh.
And I have not seen yet, but Based Mehdi destroyed Matt Walsh, who I believe, did he go through all of Mehdi's terrible takes from years ago or something? We'll see about it, because I haven't seen any of this. Like I said, I've been watching politics stuff like the last 2 weeks by and large, so let's see.
So as you all know, the right is always redlining with their anger and their outrage and their vitriol.
Because they're always angry and violent.
You know, we're used to them melting down on a daily basis and just screaming and throwing tantrums on a daily basis. But every now and then, we have somebody on the left decides to fucking fire back in a way that's just glorious and incredible and amazing. And we have a great example of that here. So Mehdi Hasan, Matt Walsh came after him aggressively recently, as many people on the right have, because whenever people on the right, in the year of our Lord 2025...
Does he destroy him as well as he did that Chinese diplomat last year?
Yes!
Oh boy, sounds like I'm going to get a treat. Let's go!
I see somebody that's not white, they immediately, go to insults and smears and bigoted attacks. So for Mehdi, it's you're
Hey,
jihadist.
Kyle, I'm white. I get called racial slurs
say,
by black
Mehdi's
conservatives
a
on
fucking
Twitter
jihadist.
all the time. What are you talking about?
Fucking tweet here.
That's because they're evil.
You'll see that very quickly. Within the first 10 tweets, it's like radical
Cracker,
Islamic
honky,
jihadist.
all that good stuff I'm called.
Well, Mehdi decided, you know what? All these people, Mehdi had said in a speech recently during the No Kings protest that, yes, I am more American than many people born in America, because I actually chose to come here because I believed in the Constitution. I believed in the values that were espoused there. And you have many right-wingers who don't know the fucking first thing about the Constitution. So yes, I am more American. Cry about it. And then fucking Matt Walsh took issue with that, and Mehdi fired back. This is amazing. Let's watch.
To talk about Matt Walsh. And if you're asking Matt who, then I'm truly envious of you. Normally I wouldn't waste time responding to basically an internet troll, but Matt is so emblematic of everything that is wrong with the modern MAGA right. Faux outrage, self-victimization, verbal abuse, a walking, talking Dunning-Kruger. Now, Matt Walsh, who says he's a conservative Christian, is upset with me for being a Muslim and for being an immigrant. But above all else, for being an American. That he cannot stand. So he did an entire 13-minute video calling me a spiteful, lying, self-entitled brat, on top of his tweet, in which he called me an ungrateful little bitch. Just as Jesus would have said. Now, before we get into the substance of Matt's claims, if we can even call it that, before we get into what I said about Muslims and the founding of America, a little bit of background on who Matt Walsh is. Shock jock podcaster, former radio DJ, and now basically that Daily Wire guy who isn't Ben Shapiro.
Yep.
He's also the guy who hasn't got the greatest of political judgment. He went all in on Ron DeSantis in the GOP primary and then had to come crawling back to Trump when DeSantis got destroyed, as some of us predicted he would. Matt is also the guy who said...
I got to hold the L on that one too, though, Mehdi. I really thought DeSantis had a chance. I was dead wrong. That was probably my worst prediction, is that DeSantis... I really thought DeSantis was like the favorite for a while.
Yeah, we thought so too.
Bad on my part.
COVID wasn't a big deal, that, quote, it's totally irrational to panic over this virus. He later admitted he got it wrong. But here's my favorite. Matt was so bothered by a black woman playing Ariel in the Little Mermaid movie that he actually said this.
From a scientific perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean.
There are no words.
Okay, Matt, I agree that Ariel shouldn't have been black. I don't agree with the race one, but you're looking at way too deep. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's not that deep. Seriously. Come on.
To describe how dumb you have to be to try and make scientific arguments about the skin color of mermaids, which are fictional fucking characters, man. This is the guy who millions on the right turn to for intellectual guidance, historical analysis, and thought leadership. Then you wonder why this country is so screwed right now. By the way, just quickly, consistency isn't really his thing either. In May of this year, he said identifying as a girl dad is super cringe and corny. In 2020, though, he said being a girl dad is a great blessing.
Oh my God.
Hoo-hoo. And also, we worry about your kids because we know what you think about 16-year-olds.
Incredible.
He constantly complained about political violence and death
And we
threats
know
when they're aimed at him.
that you're okay with abuse much younger.
But he's happy to dish it out to the people he doesn't like. He's called for the mayor of Chicago, a black man, to be executed. He's called for Jimmy Kimmel, a comedian, to be arrested. He once said this, too.
But it is in fact true that you have to make people hurt. And I'm sorry, but holding signs and yelling loudly will not make anyone hurt.
You have to make people hurt.
To this point, Mehdi, a poll just came out. I don't know how many of you guys saw it, but they asked right-wingers and left-wingers, is it ever okay to do political violence? And the right, by a pretty significant margin, said, yes, they're more comfortable with political violence.
And all this time, conservatives said the left were violent because Charlie Kirk.
Violence is sometimes acceptable.
Are you saying they're always wrong as always?
Which just destroys this whole narrative that MAGA's trying to push right now, that we have an Antifa left-wing terrorism problem in this country. They say that. Meanwhile, we had like 3 MAGA terror attacks recently within the past month or 2. So it's classic that here's Matt Walsh saying, I love political violence, but all day he'll cry and whine and bitch and moan about fake left-wing political violence.
Now, what's really bothering him about me is that I said in a recent visit to Dearborn, I think that if you can play church bells, you can pray the call to prayer. Isn't it okay for Muslim Americans to broadcast a call to prayer? I mean, let me add right now, within reason, of course.
No, because Muslims are evil, Mehdi, remember?
But Matt went nuts and said Christianity built this country. Islam did not at all in even the slightest way. That's why...
Matt... Christianity did not build America, pal. How about that one?
We can have our church bells. To which I responded, 1 in 3 of the slaves who built this country were Muslims. They were here long before the Walsh family arrived. You'd know that if you'd studied history, but I know MAGA has an issue with studying.
But conservatives don't like
history. To which Matt responded with a 13-minute video in which he got really mad.
Unlike
was
me.
Able to rebut the 2 central points that I made. Number 1, enslaved people helped build this country. And number 2, perhaps up to 1 in 3 of those slaves were Muslims. Matt can't rebut that because it's true, according to historians, according to the African American History Museum, according to the U.S. State Department.
Yeah, don't remind about the slavery part, because then they'll have to think of the Civil War, and they're not happy about the outcome of that.
It's not my fault if they didn't teach you about slavery in high school. In his video, Matt Walsh sounds like a Monty Python sketch. What did the slaves ever do for us? Ignoring the railways, the roads, the ports, the literal seat of our government, the White House and the Capitol, all built by enslaved people. And 1 in 3 of them, remember, being Muslims, black African Muslims. Matt is also just completely clueless about the Muslims who fought in the Revolutionary War, in the War of 1812, in the Civil War, where most of them fought in the Union Army. But then again, Matt's been pictured wearing a Confederate t-shirt, so maybe he's mad that the Muslims fought against the Confederacy.
He's a lost causer.
This challenge to me.
If Islam had ceased to exist 300 years ago, this country would not have lost a single thing. There is not a single good thing about our country that we would not have if not for Islam. And if you doubt that, then go ahead and give me an example of the great gift that Islam has given to this country since its founding.
Has he never heard of the Golden Age of Islam, which helped fuel the Renaissance and the Enlightenment?
He doesn't care because he's a Nazi.
Has he ever gotten
He's an Islamophobe.
Well, look, I'm happy to fill the gaps in his education.
As well.
He asked me to explain what Islam or Muslims have done for America. I mean, the black Muslim slaves aside, more recently, how about the planning of the moon landings? That was a Muslim-American scientist and immigrant. How about the science behind modern skyscrapers? That was a Muslim-American engineer and immigrant. How about brain tumor treatment? That was a Muslim-American neurosurgeon and immigrant.
Damn, fucking Walsh is getting so cooked right now.
Yeah.
See what happened?
He's getting so cooked right now,
Don't you
Matt.
love learning history and not even trying to?
Above your weight, bro. You're punching above your weight. It's just like, give it a rest. This is what happens when you're redlining your anger 24/7 and your vitriol 24/7, and you're just pointing it in every single direction. And using anybody who's like somewhat left of center to very left of center, you're just throwing fucking bombs.
Those
I hate you and I hate you and I hate you. Eventually, your ass is gonna get fucking checked by somebody who's way more intelligent than you are, and that's what you're getting right now is a fucking beatdown.
Because remember,
just this year.
You remember what I always say with what is a woman? Someone who covers their drink when these conservatives leave conservatives enter a bar.
I think even Walsh advocated that one time. Oh, God.
The Nobel Prize for Chemistry went to, among others, a Palestinian-American Muslim immigrant whose research Matt could never possibly understand and whose work could help tackle man-made climate change.
Eddie, you know he would just call him a slur.
Matt Walsh's knowledge of science is right up there with his knowledge of history. So what does he do? The guy who can't rebut basic facts. He attacks me. He goes after me for a speech I gave nearly 2 decades ago, which I said awful, dumb, bigoted things about the gay community, about non-Muslims, which I've regretted, disowned, apologized for multiple times over the decades. He thinks it's a gotcha. But here's the problem for Matt. What I said back then are essentially Matt Walsh's views right now. Matt is an anti-gay bigot today. In fact, Matt supports a Uganda law imprisoning gay people. I don't. Matt thinks most pop music is satanic. I don't. What I stupidly said nearly 20 years ago in my 20s, Matt basically says today, aged almost 40. Oh, and if you're going to play the game of what were you saying in embarrassing videos decades ago, here's what Matt Walsh was saying in 2010.
But to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Fucking groomer, pedophile. Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Gross. Pretty pretty disgusting. I think we can all agree. And
Not
kinda
conservatives.
creepy.
They're okay with
A
trying to
25-year-old
knock
man
up
telling
young
an audience how
women.
fertile 17-year-old girls are. What is wrong with you?
And
it's
women
also
is
ironic that the
generous
white
considering
obsessed
how
with
many
smearing
are going to be how many are on the Epstein list.
Let's just hope that they do not find Ayaka or Bunko. Oh God.
There's child molesters and saying Islam supports
You
child
know
marriage.
that
and yet-
Buko would strangle them with the American flag, and then Ayaka will beat them to death with her Bible.
I don't know what would offend them more, them being Japanese, Bunko speaking fluent English, or Ayaka being a base progressive Christian.
Here is Matt on tape saying that about 17-year-old girls, about children.
Or maybe all
So,
three.
look, to conclude, who is more American? The guy who supports free and fair elections, me, or the guy who got mad when judges locked up violent insurrectionists who tried to overturn the 2020 election, Matt Walsh? Who is more American? The guy who supports the First Amendment and free speech, me, or the guy who wants to imprison people and deport people for their speech, Matt Walsh? Who is
Let
more American?
Matty
The guy who
cook!
supports the United States, me, or the guy
Yes!
who wore a t-shirt celebrating the violent
He
traitors
just-
of the Confederacy, Matt
Let him
Walsh?
just do
Who is more
infinite
American?
wallet
The guy
as
who
a
supports religious
shuckle.
pluralism and separation of church and state as intended by the founders, me?
Are you
or the guy who
enjoying
wants
all
Christian
that
nationalism in
500
America
million
and proudly
damage,
calls himself
Mr.
a
Matt Walsh
theocratic
Splitsy?
fascist? Matt Walsh.
I know you wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I've made the case that I'm much more of an American and much more of a patriotic American than you are, Matt. And you're just going to have to go whine and cry about it.
Oh, that was brutal.
Base
Oh, that was
Matty!
hard to watch, dog. Oh, he's a bloody pulp right now.
Yay.
God damn. God damn. Look, I
Skewered.
mean, this is what I'm saying. The
500
right needs to be
million
fucking
damage.
careful, bro. They don't understand.
Yep.
Like that video we covered yesterday. Do you guys remember it?
Imagine not knowing how
it
to
was
use
like
a
these
blitzy like I do in infant
70-year-old
fusion.
wine moms, or I guess wine grandmas at this point.
Yep.
And they
Imagine
were
not knowing
like,
how to play
there was some
Pokemon
right
at
winger
all.
asking like gotcha questions.
Imagine not
and
being
this
able to play
right-wing
anything
wine
except-
grandma was
except
basically like,
pedophile
a left-wing
simulator.
wine grandma was basically like, yeah, I'm okay with, I'm happy
Mm.
Charlie Kirk's not here anymore, is basically what they said. And then the host goes to another woman who's right nearby and says, your friend just said they're happy Charlie's no longer with us. And then the other wine mom just laughs. And
I remember
like-
that video. I don't necessarily agree with those women. However, conservatives, you can't blame when we're like that with you, when you act how you are to us.
I've got
You
no
deserve it.
idea. These wine mums probably don't know who Charlie Kirk is.
this is what you guys
And of
created.
course,
Like,
they
you
had
don't get it.
And guess who interviewed him?
Who?
Stupid cunt Caitlyn Bennett.
All the
Of
fucking nearly 20
course.
straight years of the right telling the left, fuck you, fuck off, we hate you, you're pieces of shit, we don't want to negotiate, we don't want to compromise, we don't view you as American, we don't view you as equal, you're fucking less than, there's no place for you. Like, years and years and years of that kind of fucking abuse.
I'm the true American,
Spell
unlike
broke with the
you.
left.
Ah!
The Michelle Obama idea
Stay
of when they go
mad.
low, we go high. At some point, Democrats decided, liberals and leftists decided, no, how about when you guys go low, now we're going to go lower.
And we will
this
beat
is a great
you at your
example
game.
of Mehdi Hassan going,
Yep.
look, you don't...
You go low,
You're-
we'll
you're not
we'll
up to
kick
this,
you in
bro.
the teeth and then
You're
go
not up to this
lower.
fight.
I'll make sure
And
my
unfortunately,
body slam
look, I have to
guarantees
say,
paralyzes you
I really
too
fear
with all
in
my
the near
ton
future
weight.
there's going to be a movement in this country
Yeah.
My
that is
infinite
going to bring
damage
back
heavy slam too. That will
the
make a Mudsdale look
obsession
weak in
with
comparison.
IQ, but instead of doing, eugenics along racial lines, they're going to start doing eugenics
I will make the
and
warden
IQ
look like
shit
a
along
easy target for you in
ideological
comparison.
lines. In fact, you're already sort of seeing that. There's that guy Richard Hanania. He used to be this like white nationalist guy. He was
You'll
a
be
big
like,
writer,
"Save me,
big white
warden."
nationalist guy. And then recently, or relatively recently, I should say, he's done a total about face. And now basically all of his writing is against MAGA. And this is a guy who was obsessed with eugenics and IQ shit. And back in the day, it was all focused along racial lines. Well, now, what he's seemingly come to realize is, wait a second, I was wrong to focus on this along racial lines. Obviously, I was right with my IQ obsession, but it's along ideological lines, and the entire right wing in this country are fucking knuckle-dragging idiots. They're Neanderthals. They're morons. They're fucking total dipshits that don't know anything. They don't know their ass from their elbow. They're proud anti-intellectuals. And so now you get the sense that his worldview is like, yeah, we should have eugenics and we should be IQ obsessed, but basically everybody
Like
who's
piece of
right of
shit
center
Nick
should like lose
Fuentes.
their fucking voting rights and should know their place and shut the fuck up forever because they're ruining everything. This is what the right is bringing about. By being so arrogant and so over the top and so absurd and so
Like you
angry
guys
and so
always
spiteful
were.
and so hateful and so fucking fascist for so long. that now you've like awakened this sleeping giant of angry
Because
liberals,
you guys
angry
are weirdos,
leftists,
like
angry
base Matt
former
Walsh
right-wingers who are going,
base
I
Shuckles
don't know, I'm
Wilson
associated with you
says.
motherfuckers
Weird
because you're all
always
the
will
dumbest
be
people I've ever
weird.
seen in my fucking life. This is what you started.
How
This
about
is
you
what you
get laid
started.
and get a
And it's
job?
not gonna
Maybe
end
you'll
well
feel
for
better
you,
with
bro.
yourselves.
It's not going to end well for you. This
Get an
country,
actual
man,
job,
God
get an
forbid,
actual job, interact with the actual minorities,
I'm so glad
and realize that they're not trying to blow up the earth.
I love that I work now. Now I can tease conservatives all the time with their stupid arguments right back at them, and they can't say anything about it.
Democrats find a candidate that can actually speak to the real frustrations of the
Learn
American
to
people.
code.
The right is cooked for a fucking generation, dog. They ruined everything. Fucking looking around, prices going up massively, inflation skyrocketing, unemployment skyrocketing, this stupid trade war ruining the economy in general, the fucking corruption, the AI bubble, which is gigantic, the billionaires getting everything they want, the self-dealing of Trump building his fucking ballroom at the same time he's withholding food stamps from starving kids. Right? The fucking concentration camps, the endless bombing campaigns against countries that didn't attack us. I mean, this is absurd. The Epstein files, hiding the Epstein files, all this shit. People are so sick of all of it. And I just feel like Mehdi laying the smackdown here on Matt Walsh is very indicative of the national mood. And is very indicative of people realizing that why are the dumbest people the loudest and the most obnoxious and the most arrogant and the ones who are most convinced they're right? And it's time they get
be
fucking
put in their place, like in Minecraft.
they get a reality check.
Yep.
Because man, do they have no clue what the fuck they're talking about. And we're long past
need to
due
do hard work
for them to
in the
realize
nether.
that they are in way over their heads as fucking Matt Walsh
How
was
about
here.
we have them go
Hey, y'all,
look
do
for
me a
treasure
favor.
in a Bastion remnant? They can deal with the piglin brutes for once. So yeah, what do you guys say about based Mehdi destroying piece of shit Matt Walsh with no effort?
It's awesome.
It was-
Mehdi's awesome.
it was
And this has been really cool.
It was beautiful. So yeah, never fuckle with based shuckle Mehdi as well,
Mehdi.
along with Walt. So yeah, now with that funny thing out of the way, what's next?
Let me take a look. Zoran Mamdani saddens the rich.
Isn't it beautiful seeing the rich be mad?
Yes.
And of course, next week, people, next Tuesday, will be elections across the country. Although there's not going to be much, though. Just a few congressional seats, which, hey, it's enough that Democrats could take the House if everything goes their way. It's that close. So that is something we should keep an eye on. Of course, there's the governor elections for New Jersey and Virginia, which both going towards Democrats' ways, which is based. And, of course, the best one of all, Mamdani potentially being New York City's mayor. Let's go! With 1 week to go, he's crushing with no effort because Cuomo, the sex pest, refused to drop out, and the Republican candidate is an idiot as always, and the right is so mad and sad and all that. So let's watch them rage.
Zoran
I like when it does that. Thank you, YouTube.
Mamdani has the billionaires absolutely terrified. They are horrified. They are desperate to do anything and everything they can in their power to try to stop this man.
And you're gonna
So
sit
they've tried
there
some,
and deal with
last
it.
minute Hail Mary passes, Hail Mary smear campaigns. But man, are they all coming up short. So first, let me show you this here. 26 billionaires have spent $22 million to stop Zoran from becoming New York City's next mayor. So this was a Forbes report. We actually have a bit of a list here. Michael Bloomberg has spent $8.3 million.
$8 million.
Joe Gebbia has spent $3 million. The Lauder family,
Money
literally
in
from
politics,
Estee
people.
Lauder,
This shit
the
needs to be
fucking
banned.
makeup
How about
company,
that one?
$2.6 million. Bill Ackman, the professional tennis player, $1.75 million. The Tisch family, $1.2 million. And this list goes on, but there's literally a Alice Walton on the list, spent $200,000. The Durst family, not Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, but the very wealthy Durst family, spent $110,000. Ken Langone, that's the Home Depot asshole, spent $100,000. And so, like, this is who funds Zoran's opponents, right? Like, there was originally Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican. Now we're down to Sliwa, Cuomo, and Zoran. But, like, basically everybody on the other side of Zoran is a fucking psyop. Everybody on the other side is propped up by billionaire money. There is no like organic grassroots support for these people. They're all totally propped up, astroturfed by the billionaires. And, this is at a time when Zoran basically just shot to superstardom, where, his on-the-street videos and his repeated message of economic populism and affordability has just cut through, and he's a fucking superstar. I mean, I think in the betting markets now, he might be over 90% to win, and I think early voting just started. So the billionaires are losing their mind, and they're spending over $20 million to try to stop this guy.
Imagine
even though
wasting
they
all
kind
that
of realize,
money
they're
when you
basically
could just
flushing that
accept
money
being
down the
taxed
toilet.
to oblivion.
He's almost inevitable at this point.
And fun and
they could have
based
spent
things
this
that make
money,
everyone's
I don't know,
life better,
giving it to
including
fucking
you,
food
rich
banks or
fucks.
something to make sure that their fellow New Yorkers can fucking, eat a meal. But instead, no, they wanted to stop their taxes from increasing fucking
Learn
2%, by the way.
Get a job.
2%. But they are so desperate. Let me walk you through some of the last-minute smear campaigns. So here's one, and I'm not kidding about this. They said, "Can you believe Zoran ate at an expensive restaurant, bro?"
I don't care.
What? So they tried to do, compare. Here he is sitting on the subway eating rice with his hands, which is
I
another
don't
thing, by the
care
way, that the
either.
conservatives lost their fucking minds over.
Okay.
That, Zoran was eating rice with his hands. But
God
here he is
forbid
on
they
the
see
subway
me
doing
eat
that.
cereal
And
with
then
my
here
hands
he
with
is
no milk.
when there were no cameras and he was eating at a restaurant where the bill was probably over $160.
I don't care.
This is how little dirt you have on this man.
I doubt.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck.
I doubt not Mehdi. I doubt Zoran is rich. I mean, not rich, but I don't care. He advocates the right policies, so I don't give a shit. If he's wealthy, he's the good kind of wealthy people we need, like Based Bernie as well.
Like, he ate at an expensive restaurant, and that's supposed to make everybody go, "I'm done with him now. How dare he? Now I'm going to go for the serial sexual assaulter." Like, what are you doing? All right, we also have, they found a clip of Zoran's dad correctly saying that Hitler was admired by the policies of the United States.
Which is true.
Yeah.
He's disqualified for this.
Exactly.
Okay, first of all, Zoran is his own man. He's not his dad. Second of all, his dad is factually right.
Let me point this out for all of you. I don't know if Kyle's going to point this out. You know what the thing that Hitler admired the most? What we did to the Native Americans. And he used it as part
pretty much.
And he used
Remember,
he used part of it as the justification for the Holocaust as preparation. So yeah, Hitler loved what our racial policies.
Remember the saying that Nazism is in many ways colonialism turned on other white people.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can cry about that, you can whine about that, you can moan, but that's all that's going to happen because they're right,
Nazism
and we're going to proceed here.
White on white violence.
Then we also have,
white genocide.
we discussed this previously, but he took a picture with this imam, and they tried to say, oh, he was like a co-conspirator of somebody or knew somebody who partook in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, so they're trying to like smear him, guilt by association type stuff, where they're trying to say he's in Al-Qaeda. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was cutting deals with the new fake leader of Syria. I say fake because it was an illegal coup that overthrew Assad.
Really, Kyle? Are we really going to go with this argument? Really?
Here we go.
Really, Kyle? Like, come on. You make it... I guess next time I'm going to hear you bring this up, you're going to sound like, oh, America did this instead of the Syrian people doing it themselves. Like, come on, Kyle.
It was a mix. Okay. It'd be more believable if he mentioned the Neo-Ottoman Empire, who heavily backed
in Israel,
the Al-Qaeda affiliate that overthrew Assad.
Don't forget Israel too.
Of course.
Like how this is the problem we're talking about. How you're getting like too hyperbolic about the stuff. You need to stop.
But this new leader,
and he is the president, regardless of how you feel about
it, was literally in Al-Qaeda. That's not opinion. That's not conjecture. That's not, it's not some gray area where I'm making it more black and white than it is. No, the dude was fucking literally in Al-Qaeda. And Trump's taking pictures with him, and he's literally been asked about him, and he says, guy had a rough past. He had a rough past.
Yeah, because Trump's an
idiot. So this is what we're talking about here, and we'll get to a story later on, by the way. They're working with ISIS-affiliated gangs. The White House and Israel are working with ISIS-affiliated gangs in Gaza, because they're fighting Hamas for the IDF. And so they're literally allying themselves with Al-Qaeda and ISIS as they smear Zoran and pretend like he's somehow Al-Qaeda. Gee, I wonder why they're trying to make that connection with Zoran. Could it be because he's Muslim? And that's enough in the minds of these fucking disgusting Islamophobic bigots? Jesus Christ. And then finally, this is my favorite one of all the pathetic smear attempts at the end. They go, he's a Nepo baby. You have got to be kidding me. He's running against Andrew Cuomo, whose daddy was the governor. What are you talking about? Oh my God.
And
what are we going to do with these people?
As a reason
what are we
why
going to do with these people? Then the right's also
women.
making shit up, trying to
know,
say
Italians can't control
Zoran gave a
themselves,
speech
remember?
where he said his aunt was afraid to wear the hijab after 9/11 on the subway. She didn't want to get harassed, and they said, well, your aunt actually didn't live in the city at the time, so therefore the story's totally made up. It's like the way that these people, bro, become such fucking nitpickers because they have absolutely nothing is astonishing to me. It's so obvious to me.
Beat them, just like
it's
you
a
could
clear
never
example
beat Bernie. How about that one?
If you're not careful, the media will have you hating the people trying to make your life better.
And it doesn't
and loving the
convince
people who are
us.
trying to make your life worse. That's what's happening. It's like the New York Post is all in on smearing this guy. Why? Because they're doing the bidding of the fucking millionaires and billionaires who are desperately trying to get rid of Zoran Mamdani. All right, and then I also have this for you. Ready? Israeli intelligence is working for the Cuomo campaign. Least surprising thing ever, because Cuomo was part of the legal defense team for Netanyahu. The open genocidal war criminal.
Also remember that he's being funded by MAGA because he's pro-MAGA.
I don't. I think, wait, hold on a minute. Let me see. I don't know if I should believe the link Kyle posted, but if this is true, guess who's working with Zoran? Oh, you're not gonna like this. Linda Sarsour. Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh come on. Okay, Zoran. Now we gotta criticize that. Why do you have Linda on there? Come on, she's horrible. Come on.
She is not an ally.
Yeah,
she is not an ally. Please get rid of her.
Kyle, I swear, if you defend this, I am going to be mad.
Legal defense team for Netanyahu. The open genocidal war criminal who's
now
like
that
modern
actually
day
something Zoran deserves criticism over having Linda Sarsour on the team.
That's what this is, right? Like, he worked for them, now they're working for him. The IDF and Mossad have infiltrated his campaign, and he's happy to have them there. So
How
here's
many
another.
times
This was a.
Do we progressives have to tell you stop having Linda Sarsour involved in your campaigns? Stop. She's horrible.
A New York Post piece. Ready? Anti-Semitic activist
now,
Linda Sarsour.
If they find out, that's actually going to cause problems.
Oh no! I think Kyle's going to talk about. Oh no!
So here's another. This was a New York Post piece. Ready? Anti-Semitic activist Linda Sarsour. She was like the boogeyman of the right for a very long time. The boogie woman, I should say.
She kind of is though.
Yeah, she sucks, Kyle. Please don't defend her, Kyle. Please, please don't.
Not as bad as the right made her out to be, but still, she's not an ally.
Please, Kyle, don't go there. Please.
Isn't just playing a big role in Zoran's New York City mayoral campaign. She's been a political mentor and close friend of the Silver Spoon Socialist for.
Put aside the stupid comment right there. That's not a good thing that she's close to Zoran, Kyle. I'm sorry. It's not.
Nearly a decade, and helped guide his far-left hatred of Israel, according to a foreign intelligence report and critics. Really? See, I think it was probably the occupation that did that. I think it's probably witnessing a live-stream genocide for the past 2 years, which played a role.
Knowing Linda, I wouldn't be surprised if she does have anti-Semitic views, to be honest with you.
In that, personally. Mamdani's propensity for making pie-in-the-sky Marxist campaign promises date back to his high school days when he made a failed bid for student government with a Fresh Juice for All campaign. By the way, let me just say, I guarantee you they're making literally all of this up. This is totally made up. However, it was the Hamas-supporting Palestinian-American firebrand Linda Sarsour who helped nurture the 34-year-old into the radical mayoral frontrunner he is today, according to a Foreign Intelligence Service report obtained by the Post. Jesus Christ, man. Let's understand. The real reason, guys, why they hate this man is because he's a Muslim immigrant democratic socialist that just won the primary to be.
I've just jumped. Hang on, I want to read this.
What?
Yeah. Linda is one of his advisors. No, she's not.
Oh, thank God.
Wait, is she not? Hang on.
Please say yes. Please say she's not involved. Please. Please, to the
look.
please to the non-existent gods as an
Well,
atheist.
anything
Please
like
say
that.
she's not involved. Please.
Sarsaur is not related!
Oh, thank God!
It looks like Sarsaur is not
thank
related!
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank God. And of course, Kyle would probably be mad about it. Fuck you, Kyle, if you support this.
Yes!
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank heaven.
Democratic mayor for New York City.
It is not.
That's why they hate him. He's a Muslim
Arceus.
immigrant Democratic
Thank
socialist.
you, Arceus.
He also
She's
crushed
not
the opponents.
involved.
He won in the first round in ranked
Thank
choice
you,
voting,
Snipes.
when literally only one of 32 polls had him winning in the
Goodness.
first
That
round.
was so scary for a moment.
And his working class support was dramatically underestimated. So the real reason they're trying to take him down is because he ran on freeze the rent, build affordable housing, crack down on bad land.
You could say Linda Sarsour gave us the exact same feeling that billionaires have for Zoran.
Lords. Let's have city-owned grocery stores
Only
to
we have valid
for
concerns,
affordable
unlike
food for
them.
people. Let's have free buses,
Yeah.
free childcare. Like, this is what it's actually about, y'all. This is what it's actually about. Is, oh my God, this guy's gonna prove to people that democratic socialism actually works and is enjoyed by all.
Bernie,
and would lead to
AOC,
higher
face
taxes on the
walls,
wealthy.
and then
And
Zoran.
God forbid, the wealthy get an extra 2% tax on their
You
asses.
conservatives better
and
be
that
thankful
money's
Zoran
used to like
can't
feed
legally run for
children.
president.
They'd rather
You're
have
so
your
lucky,
fucking
you know
kids
that.
starve,
Oh,
and they'd
yeah.
rather go buy some new designer fucking Versace bags or Balenciaga bullshit or a new yacht or some shit. Like this is where we're at. We're in a new Gilded Age, and this is class war. And the billionaires are waging the war on us, and the working people have yet to fight back. Well, maybe shot across the bow here would be electing Zoran Mamdani. But final
New York
thing, I wanted to
City
show you this as well.
residents, you know
AOC,
what to
Bernie, and
do next
Zoran,
week.
and a few friends tonight in Queens. They had a rally in Queens, and look at this is for guys. This right here is for a mayor race. This is for a mayor race.
This looks like an NFL stadium.
And this
now.
looks like, I'm sorry, this looks like a presidential event with the number of people that showed up. I mean, this is colossal. This is colossal. I think Hasan was there, which, by the way, he's another one they try to use to smear Zoran. They keep having Andrew
But
Cuomo
Hasan
say,
sucks,
Oh
Kyle.
my God, he hasn't even denounced
Hasan
Hasan
sucks.
Piker. I think
I'm tired of
Stavros was
progressives
there, the
defending. He
comedian.
sucks.
This is the future right here.
don't
And
you dare
I think
defend
on some
Linda
level,
Sarsour
deep down, they
people.
know that,
Don't
which
you
is
dare.
why they are whining and crying and bitching and moaning and melting down and just launching the most limp attacks I've ever seen in my life against Zoran, a guy who simply is running by saying, can we make things a little better? Can we maybe, make decisions that help working
No,
people
you're
just a
a
little bit?
Muslim.
Can we maybe
You're
be against
must
genocide?
die.
Can we do that? And that is a fucking bridge too far for the cretin, vile right-wingers that are ruining this country. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and
So yeah, fuck the rich. and all that.
Ruining the planet and the ruining the planet, the solar system, and ruining the local
Let's just say they ruin everything. Just say they ruin everything.
Of course they are.
Yep. So yeah, what do you guys say about that? The rich are absolutely terrified of base Zoran for no reason whatsoever, because he wants to make everyone's lives better.
Yep.
And also, Zoran, please do not ever have Linda Sarsour on your team. Please, I beg of you, do not do that. That would be the worst thing you'd ever do.
Genuinely, Linda Sarsour would actually be damaging.
Yeah, do not ever.
All right, guys,
ever
so
look.
this right
Kyle, I
here
did
is
not press-
absolute.
I did not press the video yet, YouTube. Jesus. All right, so now on to the next topic.
Republicans continue to tank in polls.
More good news because conservatives suck ass as always? Who would have guessed? Maybe you all shouldn't have voted for Trump and Republicans last year because we told you it was going to suck ass. So yeah, let's watch them tank in the polls once again along with dipshit orangutan himself.
All right, guys, so this right here is absolutely crazy. I could not wait to share this with you. So we have some new numbers coming in about party affiliation. And let's just say that this is like an absolute nightmare. This is a horror show for MAGA. Because the same thing you're feeling, the same thing I'm feeling, the same thing we talk about every day, this is reverberating throughout the country. And people are fucking fed up. And these numbers show that, so watch this.
New polling just out was really eye-popping to me.
It was shocking to me, John, and it comes down to party identification. Do you identify as a Democrat or as a Republican? And traditionally speaking, this is a metric that has been quite telling of elections, and we'll get into that a little bit. Party ID margin, Dem versus Republicans. Specifically, I'm talking about Gallup. Back in Q1 of 2025, it was a tie. Look at how much Democrats have gained on this metric, according to Gallup. Their latest metric, Democrats are ahead by 7 points. That is a 7-point movement to the left.
Bro, that's insane. Do you understand? We're talking about a really short time.
Although, to be fair, party ID doesn't really mean much to me. But hey, remember, like, the entire year, Democrats have had, like, the worst polling in, like, 30 years and all that. And now people are finally being embraced. I mean, finally proud to say it once again. By its high margins.
Yeah.
Feels very good. And, yeah, cope and rage.
Time frame here, or really short time frame. And it went from party affiliation being tied 50-50 to now Democrat plus 7. You do understand what that means, right? It means people are following what's happening. People are looking at what Trump is doing. People are sick of the madness that we're witnessing. That's what that means. That's
Gee,
what that
it
means.
would be nice if you all didn't stupidly vote for that retard. You know that, right?
7 Democrat is sort of like apocalyptic for Republicans. It's so bad that
this is party ID, Kyle. I don't think this means that much. Let's look at actual polling of like generic ballots. That's more valuable. And I didn't see the video yet, but I don't think we've played his videos before here, but there's a YouTuber, fellow Mailander by the name of Let's Talk Elections. He actually covers polls.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I've seen a couple of their video.
There was a video I just saw this a moment ago while I was swapping videos out. I think it was like a few days ago. He showed a poll that said like Democrats are +9 on the generic ballot.
Wow.
So yeah, Trump's pissing off everyone so much that's looking like it's going to be a massive blue wave next year like it was in 2018 because he sucks that much ass, people.
In order for them to win in the next election.
Remember, please, let's make it where Democrats get 67 seats in the Senate. That way we can impeach him in 2027. Wouldn't that be awesome to finally get rid of him once and for all? Let's impeach that fuck.
They would have to
for
actually,
the third time, and this time make it
like
real.
Old school, steal the shit. Not just the little, the tricks around the edges type shit. Not just the little nip and tuck, like finger on the scale, thumb on the scale. No, it would you'd have to actually like old school rig it. Like with numbers like this, it could be a too big to rig type election. So the gerrymandering alone might not be enough. Might not be enough. If this holds, like, and that's the sort of trouble that they're in right now.
Well, to see if there was similar movement among Quinnipiac, it was +1 Republican. And you can see, again, movement to the left, Democrats +3. You know, last year, going into the 2024 presidential election, that was the rare time in which Republicans actually held a lead in Gallup's party ID measure. That Republican lead is no more. Adios, amigos.
Now, remember, when that happened, there was 1,000 stories I saw. I'm sure you saw them too. That for the first time ever in the history of polling, that Democrats lost their advantage and Republicans held an advantage for party ID. So, in other words, more people were describing themselves as Republicans than Democrats.
What a
that never
fucking
happens.
idiot to be
because remember,
about that party.
Republicans typically have a built-in advantage with the Electoral College, right?
Them suck
and
ass.
So
they're not Republicans.
They don't
though.
even need to have as many voters to win. I mean, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes. The popular vote and ended up losing. Al Gore won the popular vote, ended up losing the Electoral College, and so
because that was stolen
they can win
from
with
him.
less, basically. But that was the first time ever in polling that it was like, no, you actually have more voters on the Republican side. Now that's totally changed, and nobody's gonna talk about it. We're talking about it here. CNN's doing this segment, but you're not gonna see. There were like 40 fucking articles I saw when it was Republicans now hold an advantage for party ID. And now there's not going to be the same number of articles saying, oh, now that's all gone and then some. They're not going to do that. Total bias to cover that and not cover this.
Now Democrats ahead by 7 points, at least according to Gallup.
And this is when pollsters call and ask you for your party. Basically, this is self-reporting of what party you're in, and now you're seeing this 7-point swing in what people are saying in this. And historically, what does that mean?
Yeah, okay, what does it matter when Democrats have a lead on party ID at this particular point in midterm cycles? Well, I want you to take a look back at some past midterm cycles. Okay, right now we got the Democrats ahead by 7. You go back 4 years ago, the Democrats were only ahead by 1 point. This doesn't look anything like what we had at this point going into the 2022 midterm cycle. It looks much more like what we had going into the 2018 midterm cycle, in which Democrats were ahead by 4 points. They're actually doing better at this point than they...
Bro. The 2018 cycle was a massive W for Democrats. They had a huge win.
I actually don't know if it was that big, Kyle, because remember it was supposed to be like 50, 60 seats or something like that. I don't even think it was 40. And remember, Republicans also increased the lead in the Senate. So it wasn't as big as we thought it was going to be, although it's still nice to see one chamber being taken back. And remember, people, next week, I think there's enough congressional seats on the line that if all of them go our way, Democrats have the House. It's that close, remember?
Yep. We also know that Johnson won't swear them in.
Oh yeah, that's right. for like the last month plus, he won't swear in a Democrat congressman who just won a special election recently. It's been like a month now.
And we know why. It's because they have enough... because that means they have enough seats to force a vote on the Epstein files.
And he does not want to do that because he knows Trump is a pedo.
They're +4. Right now they're +7.
And he's scared
right
and he's come to realize that he might be on the Epstein list too.
And doing nothing. This is with Democrats hiding under their desk and letting people like me and fucking Midas Touch and others like we
Midas
rail
Touch
against Trump. We cover everything happening every day and
Just
fight
be
on it.
careful.
They're nowhere to be found, and they're +7. Just imagine if they actually started sounding like
Don't forget us,
they'd be
Kyle.
fucking +14, dog. They'd be +14. This is so crazy. So they're doing better than 2018 right now.
We're doing during the 2018 cycle. If you average in the Quinnipiac, it's about the same. But at this particular point, what you're seeing is Democrats doing considerably better than they did back in the 2022 midterm cycle. And more than that, Democrats have been gaining throughout this year compared to what we saw back in the 2021 year, in which we saw Republicans gaining during the year. And what we've ended up with in quarter 3 is Democrats ahead by 7, much better than the position that they had going into 2022 when they were only ahead by 1 point in quarter 3 of 2021.
So 4 points was a good year for Democrats in 2018. 1 point was a bad year for Democrats in 2022. The number 7, where does that rank? What does that tell us?
Yeah, what is that? Exactly right. All right, so we have 2022 midterm, we have 2018 midterm. Now let's go all the way back. We'll jump in the DeLorean and essentially look at party ID advantages in midterms. When the GOP gains House seats, look at this. Democrats are ahead by only a point. When the Dems gain House seats, look at this. Democrats are ahead by 8 points. Democrats are up by 7 right now. If this 7-point lead holds in the next year and it averages out next year in 2026, Democrats +7, there is no historical precedent for Republicans actually gaining House seats. The Democrats gain in every year that looks like what Gallup shows right now.
Yeah, again, and this number right here for Democrats may be one of the better numbers they've seen in some time.
And again,
or even better, a Democratic Senate too.
It's with them not saying shit, not doing shit, hiding in the background, sitting in the cuck chair. They're not doing shit.
Kicking
bro.
Trump out
They're not doing
too
shit.
would be very nice.
Imagine if they imagine if they were all in fighting the illegal bombings of Venezuelan fishermen. Imagine they were all in screaming about the.
For once, Kyle, at least you said Venezuelan fishermen, not Venezuela itself. At least you got right for once.
Yeah.
Epstein files on a daily basis, screaming about Trump's corruption and him robbing his own supporters, scamming his own supporters with a shit coin. Imagine they talked about that. Imagine they talked about the fucking dumbass trade war, which is skyrocketing prices, inflation through the fucking roof, unemployment's going up. Imagine they talked about the fucking self-dealing, the endless self-dealing, the fucking ICE Gestapo thugs in the concentration camp. Camps,
but they all agree
plural.
with them, though, so that's the problem.
Again, it would be +14.
Yeah.
So this is just Republicans collapsing under the weight of their own bullshit. Which, I mean, guys, this tells me people are following stuff enough to know that they hate what they see. I think a lot of it is, honestly, inflation. I think a lot of it is people go to the grocery store and they're like, what the fuck? I thought Trump was going to bring down prices. What the fuck?
He never was good to people. He lied. How was it that you couldn't see that what we saw?
The big deal. I do think maybe the Epstein files also contributed to that. That it's very clear Trump's hiding the Epstein files because he's in the Epstein files and people aren't stupid. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to get slapped in the face even harder as soon as a lot of these provisions in the big bullshit bill, as soon as they hit. Oh my God, Republicans are cooked. We're talking about adding $4 trillion to the debt
inflation will be infinity %, and your economy will literally implode into a black hole.
And I'm going to blame Trump for everything, and you all are going to sit there and deal with it. Ha 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 ha.
For the wealthy.
He's a fucking idiot.
And raising taxes on the working class. We're talking about cutting Medicaid $800 billion, which kicks 17 million people off health care, raises out-of-pocket costs, reduces coverage for poor people and disabled people. That, like, nightmare scenario. As soon as that happens, like, and they put, like, a honeymoon period in there, a waiting period where it's like, okay, we're going to pass this, but it really kicks in, like, a few years down the road. Wait until those cuts actually hit. 3 million people kicked off food stamps. No.
And of course, the problem is idiots are going to probably blame Democrats, right, if they take back the presidency.
Yeah, but they blame Democrats for everything, remember?
Mm-hmm. Because Americans are just that fucking stupid.
More free school lunch and free school breakfast for kids. Taking away the Obamacare subsidies. Cutting Medicare. Killing the wind projects and the solar projects. Hundreds of thousands of jobs that Trump just blew up like nothing. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. All the while, self-dealing, billions for the Golden Dome, which is just a slush fund for the military-industrial complex and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. This is crazy, what we're looking at. And so, it's catching up. It's all catching up. But again, what I would say to Democrats is I really hate the mindset of like, let's say nothing, let's do nothing, let's let them fall apart. Yes, they're going to fall apart, but they'd fall apart faster and you'd be way more popular if you aided and abetted in that, right? If you actually went to town and grabbed some fucking brass knuckles, metaphorically, and started swinging. So, do that. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
It's not that hard, but of course you gotta get rid of the corporate Democrats that don't want to fight. So, yeah, what do you guys say about Republicans imploding as they always do? Because they fucking suck ass!
Yep.
So, yeah, fuck them to the nth degree. Alright, so now, on to the next topic.
That'll be Graham Planter's debacle.
So, do you know who Graham Planter is? Because I had to look him up earlier.
Vaguely.
He is, because like I said, I haven't paid attention to politics like in the last few weeks and such. I had to look him up. He is a progressive running to potentially challenge Susan Collins' Senate seat in Maine. And from what I heard, he's a progressive and all that. However, I watched Dylan Burns' video earlier today covering him. He has a lot of issues that really could hurt him. He fought in Iraq, and he did war crimes and such. And this was back in 2018 such. It's a few years ago. And the leftists, progressives trying to be oh, he changed man, all that. That's still hard to just ignore and all that. But the big thing that's a big problem is, supposedly, he has some sort of, Nazi tattoo on himself.
Yes, I remember that. I remember seeing that at some point.
And Kyle's going to cover because I don't know much about it. All I remember is Dylan Burns watching the video of Mehdi having a debate with Cenk and someone else, and oh god, Cenk was, of course, horrible as always at defending Graham. Mm-hmm. And Dylan, of course, made the rational arguments and point out, guys, the main primary is not till next June. We got 9 months or so. Can we maybe find a progressive that doesn't have any potential baggage when we have time for it? And I thought that was a valid critique and all that. So let's see what Kyle does. I got a feeling he's probably going to make excuses for it. So let's see.
Graham.
Of course, thank you, YouTube again.
Plattner. Graham. What have you done? What have you done, old Grammy boy? Old Graham Cracker. All right, so there's a lot to talk about here, but let's dive into it. So Maine State Press says the following. A recently surfaced video shows Maine Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner with a chest tattoo of the SS Totenkopf, the skull and crossbones emblem used by Nazi death's head units. Plattner has stated he got the tattoo while drunk as a young Marine on shore leave in Croatia and was unaware of its Nazi affiliation until recently. Okay,
sure.
So here is what the tattoo looks like. Here is the Nazi symbol. Now, I must cop to this, regardless of how political I am and how closely I follow all this stuff. I genuinely and sincerely had no fucking idea that this was a Nazi symbol. None.
It looks like just
when I think of a Nazi symbol, I think of the swastika, and I think of the SS, the light.
I've done that before in MTWS for Ye Plunder on its flag and body. I might take a picture of that for you to look it up yourself. Give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Since you have a chance to look at this up, whereas I can't.
Bolt SS. That's what I think of.
Right.
I literally have never seen this and would never have attributed it to some Nazi shit. In all honesty, where my mind goes when I first see this is
and
pirate.
The tattoo.
I think pirate. That's a pirate thing. Like skull and crossbones, I immediately think pirate. So now you could hear that and you could say, hey, Kyle, you're ignorant or naive on it. Fair enough, but I genuinely did not know that. And my guess is probably a majority of Americans are with me. I would guess a majority of Americans are with me in that they know the swastika, of course, is a Nazi symbol, and they probably know the...
Kinda see it. Kinda. But no, mainly it's just the it's mainly the it's not really the skull part, it's the bones part that looks much closer. The skull doesn't look right. Yeah, the only part that looks like the Nazi symbol is the bones part. That's it.
Maybe look up if this is actually true, if this is an actual Nazi symbol.
Maybe 60% know that the lightning bolts, the SS, that's Nazi symbology.
Yeah,
but
the
this,
lightning S.
I really doubt
SS,
that a majority of people know that. All right, now having said that, let's dive a little deeper here. So, this is an important point to make. Maine State Press says the following: new details are emerging about the recent Politico article on Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner. The report highlighted a deleted Reddit account allegedly tied to Plattner, but notably did not explain how that account was located or verified. Multiple political sources now claim that advanced data analysis tools, possibly including Palantir or similar AI-driven technology, may have been used to trace the archived account and compile identifying information linking it to Plattner. As of now, Politico has not disclosed the technical methods or sources behind the discovery.
Okay,
Holy
it looks like it's one of those that it's another thing that Nazi Germany co-opted, because it dates all the way back to Frederick the Great, actually, in 1741. It's been usually officially used as symbols of superiority in European armies. So, well, there's like, yeah, but there's so many other things it's used for too, good and bad.
Or like when I use skull crossbones for MTWS, like I mentioned. I don't know. We need to probably look into this more.
Shit. So in layman's language, what that means is, who was behind digging up the old Reddit account, which was just used for a week or two to fucking drag his name through the mud because of old accounts he posted on, old comments, I should say, that he posted on Reddit and elsewhere. It looks like this was literally a Palantir op. A Palantir op. So who contacted Palantir?
Kyle, be careful, because those are the same dumb arguments Chank made. I would be very careful about that.
Who got in touch with them to try to get them to dig this up? Well, we do know that Graham's been running around saying that what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. He's been relentless in pointing out that it's a genocide. That is not something the political establishment likes, as you all know. So what we have is, it's a corporate Democrat op. I'm sure the Janet Mills campaign, who's now his primary opponent, I'm sure they were sitting on this file. Where'd they get this file from? Well, did they get it from AIPAC? Janet Mills, she's decent on domestic policy and on economics, but she's fucking horrible on Israel and Gaza. She's terrible on that.
Kyle,
so my guess is Janet Mills, the corporate Democrat establishment tried to get her to run.
This is the same argument you were using against Charlie Kirk at one point. I would really be careful if I were you. It's getting a little bit too uncomfortable.
They don't want this guy Plattner winning. And then, AIPAC worked with Palantir to dig up some fucking dirt on him, and then they end up running this story. That's my guess as to exactly how this came about. Okay, now let's get to what Graham Plattner says in response, because he did this long interview with the Pod Save guys, and they didn't hold back. They asked him real questions about, all the stuff in his background, about the tattoo, about the posts and all that. And here's what he says. Let's watch.
In kind of a non-traditional campaign move, your team actually shared some opposition research on you with me. It's a video from, I believe...
So the reason they did that is because they clearly knew that the Janet Mills campaign, his primary opponent, they got this video, right? And then again, question is, where do they get that from? This instance is a little different. I actually think that this video, as he's about to explain, where people saw the tattoo on his chest, it's from like a wedding that he had that his family had shown. And so there was some source that somehow slipped it to the Janet Mills campaign, but the old Reddit posts for sure link back to a fucking AIPAC smear campaign dug up by Palantir. Or some people even say there's companies out there that you pay $15,000 and you can dig up somebody's entire fucking internet history, even deleted shit. And so there's also like a broader question here about just privacy in general. That like anything anybody's ever done ever on the internet, even if you get rid of it, they can still dig that up, tie it back to you, and effectively they could try to drag your name through the mud over shit that happened fucking 14 years ago that could have been a joke or whatever. Like, it's getting fucking squirrely out there, bro. It's getting Minority Report type shit out there.
A decade ago. Let's just watch an excerpt, and then we should talk about it.
I gotta mute this because I don't want to get copyright, but it's the song Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, and Graham Plattner is singing it in booty shorts.
He looks like a drunk
Is
loser.
No, I think... was it? But I'm pretty sure she was actually... Like, there are sections where she's actually completely naked in it.
And he's like, in his underwear. He looks like a drunk loser. That definitely is not going to look good to me. And, of course, there's the tattoo.
And this was at a wedding, or like a wedding party or something like that.
watching there was Graham wearing just his boxer briefs, singing.
Marine Corps Silkies. Those are Marine Corps running shorts.
Pardon me, Silkies. First of all, great song choice. Tell us what's happening there, where you are. There's probably some listeners who are very confused. And the reason that we are showing this video is because at the very end, you can see a tattoo on your chest. And I've been told that some of your political opponents are telling reporters that that tattoo has a Nazi affiliation. And I would like to know, is that accurate? Are you a secret Nazi?
I am not a secret Nazi. Actually, if you read through my Reddit comments, I think you can pretty much figure out where I stand on Nazism and anti-Semitism and racism in general. I would say a lifelong opponent.
Yeah, so let me just point out, if you ask the people who are saying this is a deal breaker and they could never support Graham, if you ask them...
I mean, I would have a negative view of him just seeing that video of him being almost naked, looking like a drunk fool.
Okay, so do you think he's a Nazi?
I feel like with that, that's depending on how old it is, that indicates issues with judgment.
Mm-hmm.
People will usually say, no, of course not. And the reason the answer is no is because if you look at all of the old Reddit posts that they dug up, if anything, the criticism is, bro, you've, at least in your whole posting history, you've always been very far left. You called yourself a fucking communist at one point, right? And so there isn't a single hint, there's not a whiff of any actual Nazi shit.
You ever heard of red fascism, Kyle?
His comment posting history. When he thought nobody was watching and nobody would see these things. It was always, if anything, super far left. So that's why this attack feels very gross. Is like you're saying he's a Nazi without saying he's a Nazi while knowing he's not a Nazi, right? And so there's something very icky about that, because like even the people bringing it up are going, well, of course he's not a Nazi, but this tattoo was a Nazi tattoo, and it's like I genuinely believe him that he had no idea when he got it. In fact, to give away a little information about myself here,
although I'm going to say this right now because Dylan Burns covered it, and I'm going to trust his view on it more than Kyle's. He wasn't as believing of Graham as Kyle is. So I'll keep that. I want you all to keep that in mind. Someone who's definitely smarter on this doesn't agree with him.
So the tattoo on my arm is for when my dad died. So that had like a deep meaning. The one on my back is copying the tattoo my grandfather had.
Dylan Burns
the two on my left arm were literally just me going,
yeah,
I don't know, I'll get some design shit. It doesn't have to mean much.
Feels weird about that.
And speaking of which, let me go find that, an hour-long video. And unfortunately, you will have to deal with Cenk being a fool in the video, but you have to see it. I know, it was bad earlier today watching it, but it must be seen.
Take
so
place
watch
in fucking
yourself.
tribal armband. And the other one I picked
was
what I thought was just this cool design that was like almost like this
ninja
star type thing, right? Like tribally ninja star type thing. And so I picked that.
Enjoy that later.
Out, guys. I didn't know this.
Be a fool.
That was a fucking Metallica tattoo.
Oh, it's this one.
Now,
so fun.
My music taste, I'm more of a hip-hop, R&B, pop kind of guy. I've always been like that. And so I was never really into Metallica, so it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't really know what the Metallica thing was. But it literally took somebody seeing that on my arm, watching a video of mine, and then like super chatting into Kyle and Corin and saying, hey, by the way, that's a Metallica tattoo. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, I literally have a Metallica tattoo and I had no fucking idea. This thing has been on me for over a decade. And I didn't know until like last month that it was a Metallica tattoo, right? And so I guess my point is, I totally believe him because I literally have a very similar story. The other thing is, even though it's a Metallica tattoo, I also want to get stuff added to it and I want to change it a little bit simply because, not because of the Metallica things, it doesn't bother me that some people think I have a Metallica tattoo even though that wasn't the intent, but it also does kind of somewhat look a little Nazi-ish or Nazi adjacent. And so I kind of want to change it for that reason. So, like, I actually could very closely relate to what he's saying here, but let's continue.
The video is from my brother's marriage to his wife, to my sister-in-law, who I was serenading. I told them that my wedding gift to them would be my embarrassment. And so I performed a lip-sync version of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball to my sister-in-law on the day of her wedding to my brother. And And now, of course, that embarrassment, which was mostly just held internally in the family, as we always watch that video at family events and laughed, is now shared with the world. So I feel like I'm just going to give them a wedding gift for the rest of my life, which is great. I love them deeply. The reason, by the way, the reason of this video, Saturday was their 10th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
And my sister-in-law was showing everybody the video. And I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. There's me being embarrassed. But what we also, so in 2007, I was a machine gun section leader with Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines. We were on the 2-2 Mu, and it was my 3rd deployment. My previous 2 had been to Fallujah and then Ramadi, 2006. And we went ashore in Split, Croatia, myself and a few of the other machine gun squad leaders, and we got very inebriated. And we did what Marines on liberty do, and we decided to go get a tattoo. And we went to a tattoo parlor in Split, Croatia, and we chose a terrifying-looking skull and crossbones off the wall because we were Marines, and skulls and crossbones are a pretty standard military thing. And we got those tattoos. And then we all moved on with our lives, and I actually joined the Army after that, where I got, I had to go to MEPS, I got screened. Later on, I got a security clearance and a full screen when I went to work for the State Department as a contractor doing security for the ambassador to Afghanistan in 2018. And I've also just lived my entire life like a regular person with the skull and crossbones on their chest, which by that I mean taking my shirt off, performing Miley Cyrus songs in front of my extended family, and to my sister-in-law, and just taking my shirt off at the beach.
Right, presumably going to the beach, yeah.
I mean, I went to college, I went to the gym, I did all the things, and at no point in this entire experience of my life did anybody ever once say, hey, you're a Nazi. It never came up. Until we got wind that in the opposition research, somebody was shopping the idea that I was a secret Nazi with a hidden Nazi tattoo. And I can honestly say that if I was trying to hide it, I've not been doing a very good job for the past 18 years.
Yeah.
So
you're a self-described communist, but also a Nazi.
I will say, the fact that I've managed to go from communist to Nazi in the space of 4 days, according to the people who are trying to do this to me, I find to be
of course that's what conservatives always do.
Turn of events, but
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what's really interesting to me in the fallout of this is if you go watch that full interview on the PodSave YouTube channel and you read the comments, I mean, their audience is mostly liberals. I wouldn't say a crazy number of leftists watch them, but it's mostly liberals. And you read through it, and the liberals are going, yeah, this is crazy. This guy's obviously not a Nazi. This is like a fucking smear campaign. And it's good that he aired it all out, and we appreciate his commentary, and he seems like a good guy, right? So you got like liberals defending him, but then I've seen a number of leftists immediately throwing him under the bus and going, well, this is unacceptable. And look, I get it, because some people fear, oh my God, this might be like another John Fetterman that's happening. But John Fetterman was always sort of low-key pro-Israel, and then he had a stroke and got literal brain damage, and then he became right-wing on everything. But he was always kind of pro-Israel, right? And that was always like the little bit of a red flag there. He was for Medicare for all, he supported Bernie Sanders, but he was pro-Israel. So it was like, okay, bad on the Israel part, but good on the rest.
Yeah,
then he just went
that.
full right-wing. There's no indication whatsoever that this guy is pro-Israel at all. In fact, if anything, it's the opposite. He's leaning into calling what's happening in Gaza a genocide. He was a Michael Brooks fan and a Majority Report fan. All of his Reddit shit posts are like I'm a communist type posts.
I'm going to take Dylan Bird's
and then the other thing is people say, oh, this is giving the right too much ammunition. They will call us fucking communists and Marxists and Nazis and fascists no matter what.
I would strongly recommend everyone go on Dylan Bird's channel. The video is like 59 minutes where he was reacting to Cenk debating Mehdi and someone else about him. I just trust him more on this issue than Kyle. I'm sorry.
If it's Janet Mills, his opponent, they will call her a communist, a Marxist, and a Nazi and a fascist. Say, oh, but there's more evidence that he is. Yes, but then the question is, who can fight better? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not partaking in this thing anymore where we do the fucking circular firing squad and say, we're doing the right's dirty work for them. Even by having this conversation, I feel...
But Kyle, if there is even a potential baggage that could cost him the general election, then maybe, since we have plenty of time, how about we maybe consider looking for someone else who does not have, not potential Nazi tattoos? Like, Maine's a blue state. I'm sure you could find another progressive to replace him instead. It shouldn't be that hard. Can we at least consider that?
Like I'm doing the right's dirty work for them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're not even talking about it. Right now, I just see leftists trying to shit on Graham Plattner, and they're doing the right's dirty work for them. And I'm sorry, it doesn't make you holier than thou that you fell for a fucking
I don't even think Dylan Bird's a
smear
leftist,
campaign.
Kyle, but okay.
He's not a Nazi. Everybody knows he's not a Nazi. Even the people who are angry about the tattoo admit he's not a Nazi. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why are we wasting our time? Now, I will say, this is not the thing. Like, if you were to say, look, I'm sorry, I can't vote for Graham, and I'd support the opponent, the only argument that really I can understand is if people say, look, man, he did 4 tours in, an illegal fucking wars, right? And he briefly worked for fucking Blackwater.
Yeah, there we go.
That I get, of just being I'd rather have a non-Iraq war criminal, fucking Blackwater person.
Yeah, I see that as well.
Yeah.
And like I said...
I genuinely I'd just say it. If you have toured the Iraq war, in Iraq specifically, you are not a leftist.
And
I don't care what your beliefs are. You are a right winger automatically because that entire war was just it means that you automatically there's just no. There's no trial in this case. You did a war crime. You were committing war crimes. That's existence of that war is a war crime.
And personally, for me, like I said, just seeing that video of you looking like a drunk fool, I'm sorry, but I am going to judge you on that because I have an intense hatred for alcohol.
Like I said, that one is that one indicates issues with judgment.
And someone who has an extreme bias for alcohol, when I see someone look like that, I'm going to immediately judge them.
I'd rather have that. Like, I can understand that argument.
I'll judge them more than
the counter to that, of course, is it was literally those experiences that made him go, oh my god, war is fucking evil. I'm partaking in evil. That is not acceptable, and I need to, like, cleanse my soul. And so then he goes fucking far left and goes, I'm a communist. Fuck all this imperialist shit. Fuck all this fascist shit. Now I'm for peace. Now I'm going to crusade against war. Now I'm going to crusade for Medicare for all. So he had the proper reactions to those things in the moment. You understand what I'm saying? Now, having said that, again, I can understand somebody saying, well, just the fact, like, I just don't want to vote for anybody who's partaken in these illegal wars. I get that. And if that's your prerogative, that's fine. But do not aid and abet the fucking smear campaign, right? If you're going to support Janet Mills, if you're going to vote for Janet Mills, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Well, that's if it is a smear, Kyle. What if it's not? You gotta think about that too.
But don't fucking aid and abet what we know is a smear campaign. And that's what it is. It is a smear campaign. It came from AIPAC. It came from Palantir. It came from the Oppo research dump by Janet Mills.
Hold on,
and Janet Mills,
I've just
she's 77 years old. She doesn't fight nearly as well as he does. I'll give her credit in that she's good on domestic issues. She has a solid domestic policy record. And she does deserve credit for that. But she's also fucking horrible on Israel. She total cuck to Israel, supports the genocide. And so, like, just understand what you're saying. And then some people go, oh, well, why not have, like, another DSA-endorsed candidate run? And it's like, but then all that happens is Graham and the DSA candidate split the vote. And fucking
Graham could drop out, you know. Like, they don't have to just run. They don't have to. He doesn't have to run either. Kyle,
okay,
you know?
I'm just going to pause right now, Tim. You've just suddenly started sounding like Darth Vader.
Blame internet as always. Do I sound better yet?
That's better.
Janet Mills definitely wins. So why not just skip the middleman and just support Janet Mills if that's what you're going to do? So it's just, that doesn't make sense. It does, and the other...
But like I was saying, Kyle, Graham could just drop out, you know, and a different progressive could replace him. Like, it's not that difficult, Kyle.
Yes, exactly.
The other thing I've heard is, oh, I think this is evidence that maybe he's like a deep state op or something. Like, he infiltrated the left as, like, you know, a pro-deep state CIA operative type who's going to get in there and just fucking be totally right-wing. And that I just don't buy.
Dude, Kyle! Jimmy, remember Jimmy fucking Dore? He was a fucking CIA psyop.
Mm-hmm.
Over a decade, like 15
There's
years,
a chance.
Shit posting and lefty posting like crazy.
With people,
you know,
like
posting
this.
Like an unhinged person on the Chapo Trap House
anyone
subreddit.
From the military,
like,
because they
you wouldn't spend 15 years doing that to me. Like, really, that's how long you're gonna fucking plot this like devious plan? No, of course that doesn't make sense to me. So I don't buy that. But I just find it very bizarre and very weird that you have, like, a lot of liberals are defending him and a lot of leftists are going, this is it's over. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. And, like, I don't know, man. I just think that's some bitch-made shit. Like, it's kind of crazy how the right understands that politics is a power game. They get that. Politics is about power. And so they don't destroy their own. They point their guns at the left. And they fucking are ruthless and relentless.
That's because they have no standards,
and they circle
Kyle.
the wagons if
we have standards.
An attack lands on their own.
We have standards.
But on the leftist side, it's like...
Yeah.
And people are just not going to vote for someone like anyone on the left that has any potential Nazi affiliation. Conservatives, they can get away with it, but not us. That's the difference.
Exactly.
Oh, we'll become the fucking ravaging hyenas for you and, like, kneecap our strongest soldier. And that's bullshit. And by the way, let me just also throw this out there.
Is he really the strongest soldier, Kyle, if he has a baggage?
No, Mamdani is our strongest soldier.
If Graham has this potential baggage that can cost him the general election, that's something we need to consider.
Too. I love this one. Folks online spending a lot of time talking about Graham Plattner's tattoo today while Axios is going off on him for having an Antifa super soldier sticker and being a member of the Socialist Rifle Association. What a race to cover here in Maine. So again, in other words, the same fucking day, they're going, Nazi tattoo, he's a Nazi. He's a Nazi. They're going, Antifa super soldier, Socialist Rifle Association, communist, too far left, Antifa super soldier.
Well, yeah, that's what
And look,
conservatives
I'm going to say
always
it one
do.
more time.
And corporate
the right is going to accuse
that's what they do.
Janet
No
Mills
standard,
or
and they
Graham
got no
Plattner of
consistency.
being a communist, fascist, not Nazi, Antifa person. They don't care. Like, they make this argument against fucking Hillary Clinton, right? And so the question is, who do you want to be there to make the counter arguments to reframe the conversation? I think Graham would be better at that. To say, oh, okay, you're going to accuse me of that. How about the fact that you just kicked 17 million people off their fucking health care and sentenced thousands of them to their death, and you just kicked 3 million people off food stamps and sentenced a bunch of them to starve? Let's have that conversation. The reason why you don't want to talk policy substance with me is because you know I'll kick your ass. You know that Medicare for all is correct and everybody deserves health care. You know we should end the wars while you vote for the fucking wars. So I want somebody who can reframe the conversation and focus back on the issues and knows how to fight. And I'm sorry, but he's better at that than Janet Mills. I mean, look, when push comes to shove, whoever gets through the primary gets through the primary and deserves everybody's support on the liberal and left side. There's no doubt about that. But in this moment, I just feel like I want to take a shower watching everybody pretend like this is something it's not, right? To pretend like this is evidence of him actually being a Nazi when there's literally no indication of him being a Nazi, and if anything, it's a communist. It's very weird and very gross and very bizarre. And unfortunately, I think that some of this stuff is landing. The other conversation I have, which we don't need to get into now, is he handling it well, right? Like, and Crystal says she thinks he is. The comments in the pod save comment section seem to point in the direction that he is handling it well. I'm a little more jaded in that I don't like that he's showing sort of any weakness about it. You know, like, I didn't, like, he apologized for some of the shit posts back in the day, and on that, I sort of want to be like, don't even apologize. You know? Like, that's what I'm so sick of. I'm so sick of, the right never has to apologize for anything ever. But, like, some old fucking lefty shit post, and all of a sudden you gotta, like, grovel to the country. Like, no, fuck that.
Because
then you're having a
it hurts
conversation
the left,
they want
pal.
you to
That's
have.
the difference. It doesn't hurt the right. We're unfortunately forced to deal with different standards. The right can do anything they want and get away with it. We can't. That's the difference. It's just the unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, no, reframe the conversation and go on the fucking offense. So if anything, I feel like stop fucking apologizing, right? But I don't know. The chips will fall where they may in terms of whether or not he handled the fallout well. But we're trying to get him on Crystal Kyle and Friends, and to talk about everything, not just this. But it really is a shame to see everybody sort of agreeing to play pretend that because he has this tattoo, therefore the implication is he's a Nazi, even though everybody knows he's not a Nazi.
I wouldn't agree on that, but I would say that the tattoo combined with the drunk thing does indicate that he has issues with judgment, and that is probably not a good sign. And that is something that we need to be concerned about.
Like, here's what I would say if I was a voter. I don't know about the Nazi tattoo or all of that. I can't say good or bad or ignore or whatever. I don't know enough about it. But seeing that video of him being a drunk fool, that is going to have a major negative view on me. And that could potentially keep me from even considering on that alone. Sorry.
The person to represent the Democratic side. And it's like, do you understand our opponents? Like, there are actual Nazis in power right now. Stephen Miller is an actual fucking Nazi. Donald Trump was on tape literally saying how he sexually harasses women and grabs them by the pussy. He's literally on video on Fox and Friends saying we should murder the family members of terrorists. Right? These are people who are arming and funding the sniping of children in the face done by Israel. And so, in the midst of that happening, we're gonna fucking have a debate about a tattoo? A fucking tattoo that was a skull and bones that he didn't even fucking know indicated what it indicated? Like, it's all...
Again, I'm
sorry, the Oppo dunks on the left are just fucking undefeated.
I think it's
and so
way
many
more
people are falling for the APAC, Palantir, corporate
I genuinely
right
think,
now.
as I said, it's not so much the problem I have with the tattoo is more he's got problems with he's got issues with judgments than he's a communist Nazi who's also an ISIS fighter.
Yeah, like I said, guys, Dylan Burns' video, and you need to watch it after we're done filming because it's pretty impressive. What
very, very disturbing to me.
Plus, you get
but
to
shout out
suffer
to all
here
the
in
liberals
chunk yogurt.
kind of immediately saw through it. I feel like
Chunky
the liberals have
yogurt.
become leftists very quickly.
Or at least it's not the daughter of JQ Rowling, Karen Sprain Brainian.
But I'm going to warn you right now. Chank made a complete fool of himself, so you're going to be. I've warned you right now.
That's why the liberals are reacting like I would expect leftists to react.
And I mean,
but then a lot of leftists, I don't know, they're like hypersensitive about stuff like this, and I think they care more about the optics of it than anything else. And they don't like the optics of it. And so maybe that's why they're reacting as they're reacting.
And I can't wait to hear your reaction when you watch it, how bad it was.
Saw through this and realized it for the bullshit it is.
This is
and everybody who's sort of adding to the pylon right now, you really need to fucking reevaluate. Like I said, there are legitimate criticisms of Graham, but this one is not fucking it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
I wouldn't be so confident about that one, Kyle. Just saying. But yeah, what do you guys say about the Graham Plantner debacle? Do you think it's Nazi tattoos he has or what?
No, but I do say that getting that skull while drunk does indicate that he has issues with having good judgment, which can cause its own set of issues.
And that, of course, is a major no to me. So, yeah, like I said, if I was in Maine, I don't know if I'd be able to vote for him for just being a drunk alone, regardless of the Nazi tattoo accusation, whatever. And even the war crime stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of things from him. Like Bill Burns said, there's 9 months to go before the primary happens. Why can't we just tell him to go away and have a progressive in Maine that doesn't have the baggage and such? It can't be that hard, people. All right, on to the next topic.
The final topic. Woo! The new MAGA Civil War! I am here for it.
Yep. As MAGA dipshits are at war with each other once again, and we're going to enjoy every moment, of course, as always. So, now let's start up once again. Let's laugh at... No, like the grim events of Billy May moment. Let's all point and laugh at his humiliation.
All right, guys, so it looks like we have some trouble in paradise. We have Ben Shapiro calling out other MAGA pundits and figures. He goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alex Jones, but he also, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but he also seems to be pissed off at people who work for his own company. Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, and basically it's because there was that group chat that came out, that like pro-Hitler group chat, the young Republicans who are fucking 40 years old, and they're saying like, put our opponents in the gas chamber and we love Hitler and shit like that. And for understandable reasons, he doesn't like that too much. So let's start with him going after Alex Jones and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
We need to be real about the agenda of many of the people who are continuing to rely on the kindness of the quote-unquote traditional Republicans who quote-unquote don't want to attack right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is dividing the Republican Party, not the people criticizing Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is attacking the president day in and day out. Who's dividing the party? The people who mention it or Marjorie Taylor Greene? Marjorie Taylor Greene spent the last 24 hours ripping into Republican men. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, apparently, she tore into her party and said GOP men in the Congress are quote-unquote weak. Apparently,
well, they are,
and now she's getting this media blitz from the left. While torching Speaker Johnson, torching Donald Trump, accusing Donald Trump of a cover-up over Epstein. Quote, President Trump is a very strong...
absolutely true, Benny boy. Trump has absolutely covered up the Epstein files. Like, don't start this shit. Don't go there.
In style, he's not weak at all. A lot of the men here in the House are weak, Greene said.
And Trump is a weak little beta male, so cope.
There's a lot of weak Republican men.
No. He's a software alpha male.
Benny, please don't...
Which means that he's unstable, full of bugs, and not fit for public use.
Benny boy, please stop having to make us all of a sudden have to defend Karen Greene. Please don't make us do that.
Afraid of strong Republican women. So they always try to marginalize the strong Republican women that actually want to do something and actually want to achieve. Sure, that must be it. It can't be that you've been out there day and night getting the strange new respect from the left by attacking Trump over his foreign and domestic policy while engaging in the most rudimentary, conspiratorial nonsense. If you point that out, are you the divider or is it Marjorie Taylor Greene?
So, in other words, if she keeps talking about wanting to release the Epstein files, then she's a traitor. She's a traitor because Trump obviously doesn't want to release them. Come on, Ben. Come on, dog. This is crazy.
Conspiratorial nonsense. If you point that out, are you the divider or is it Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's busy taking victory laps on CNN?
Oh, are you scared? Are you scared you're on the Epstein list, Ben DeQueero?
It's Jones. And the idea is that if you don't, quote-unquote, unite with Alex Jones, somehow you're undermining the party. It's Alex Jones who's torching members of the Trump administration. mean, here's Alex Jones on Tucker Carlson's show, torching, in order, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. Who's the one who's dividing things? Who's the one attacking the president's policy?
I mean,
who's
you
the
all
one
suck,
who's shooting
so
inside
are
the
you
tent,
surprised?
by the way? I'm getting rather tired of this idea that everybody who is not on the sort of extreme wing of the conspiratorial right, those are the ones who are
Benny
wrecking the
boy,
party by
you're
not
on the
accepting
extreme side too, you know.
the extreme wing of the conspiratorial right that is constantly attacking inside the party. It's a wild supposition. Here's Alex Jones. This is, again, within the last 48 hours.
From what I've heard, Bondi's not bad. She's just lazy. Bongino's emotional and a big baby. Patel is compromised. And it's just so sad.
I mean, like, I just have to wonder, is that, who's dividing? Who's the big divider? Again, politics is a coalitional business, and people can vote for whomever they want. But the question now is not about voting. The question right now is about who gets to define the message and the future of the Republican Party. That's an ongoing battle all the time. That's an ongoing battle on the right. And if you don't call this stuff out, you end up with the right-wing version of AOC running your party.
He's right that there is like a total contradiction in the Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alex Jones approach, because they will seemingly say things that make them more independent, like, hey, you need to release the fucking Epstein files. They will say stuff like that. They will, call out the endless support for Israel, for example. But then at the end of the day, Marjorie Taylor Greene refuses to criticize Trump by name. Alex Jones
endless support. Why they call out the endless support for Israel is because they hate Jews.
Refuses to criticize Trump by name, and so they try to have their cake and eat it too, where they keep their finger on the pulse of their viewers and try to hit the issues that they care about, including Israel, including the Epstein files and others. But they're not honest enough to just say Trump's in the fucking Epstein files, and the Israel lobby owns the U.S. government, and Trump's doing Miriam Adelson's bidding, and they're allowing themselves a tiny dose of truth without going all the way. And so Shapiro's kind of right. They're like, who represents Trump and Trumpism better? Well, Trump is the ultimate arbiter of what Trumpism is, and Shapiro is the one who's basically cucking himself to Trumpism more thoroughly than the others are. So he's basically saying here, like, well, I represent Trump better. My side of the Republican Party represents Trump better because we're not criticizing him for shit. And that's true because Shapiro agrees with Trump's fucking warmongering foreign policy. He agrees with Trump doing Israel's bidding day in and day out and doing that fake peace deal. He agrees with not releasing the Epstein files because, God forbid, it exposes all these high-level elites, and it exposes that Epstein was Mossad. He doesn't want that because he's that pro-Israel. He wants to hide that Epstein was Mossad. So he's kind of right that he represents Trump more than they do, as they ironically pretend to represent MAGA more. So on that front, I actually sympathize with him. All right, but now it goes deeper. So now, back to the group chat thing, right? How you had the young Republicans who are 40 years old group chat, I love Hitler, send our enemies to the gas chamber, call black people watermelon people, just all sorts of fucking cringeworthy fucking vice signaling and the based ritual that was going on. Well, here are the Daily Wire hosts talking about that. Let's see what they say.
Again, I'm not even disagreeing with the motivations of the Politico story. In fact, even on my show today, I talked about the motivations of the Politico story, which, Matt, I agree, are completely scurrilous and designed to distract from the sort of violent rhetoric we've seen from the left. But it has led to...
How dare Politico release this? They're just trying to distract from the violent rhetoric of the left. Really? There were 3 MAGA terror attacks within the past month, and none of you guys said dick about it or said this is, a problem endemic to the right. But yeah, that's what they were doing. They were distracting from the violence of the left, please.
I think a reactionary response on some parts of the right to say there should be no policing ever at all. No social consequences should ever attend to things that are said on the right. That it's basically just pure my side versus your side. The problem I have is, number one, I think that's moral, and number two, I don't think that's pragmatic. I don't think that's moral because I think that there are things that get said on the right that are really, really, really ugly, and pretending those away doesn't make them go away. I think that they're rising. I think that they're getting more common. I know that my death threats from that side are getting more common. I know I have more security because of that, and it's not just from the left. I have lots of security from the left, and I also get lots of security from the right. Matt, I think a little bit earlier today you tweeted that kind of your litmus test is the people who are trying to kill you, and I totally get that. I also have that litmus test. The difference is that I think that if somebody tries to kill you, Matt, there's a good shot that it's going to be a leftist. If somebody tries to kill me, it's a frickin' Agatha Christie novel. I just don't know which direction the bullet is coming from at this point, given the sort of various and sundry radical extremes that exist. I'm not going to say that the right is equivalent to the left in this respect, because I don't think it's been mainstreamed to nearly the same effect on the right that it has been on the left. But to pretend that it has not infiltrated a lot of very important spaces.
So in other words, what you have Ben Shapiro saying to his own Daily Wire host here is, we have a Nazi problem on the right. Yeah, lefties hate me, but these right-wingers hate me too, and if I get killed, it might be one of the far-right terrorists, one of the Nazi types who does it, so, hey, we should probably criticize it when a group chat comes out where they say stuff like, I love Hitler, And he's basically begging and pleading with the people who work for the Daily Wire going, can you fucking say something about this? Meanwhile, Matt Walsh was going out there and making a big point of saying, I'm not going to criticize anybody on the right. We need to unite on the right. So, no, I'm not going to criticize anybody on the right at all. If you're on the right, you're on my team, and that's the end of the conversation. And then Ben Shapiro, who, of course, is very Jewish, he's going, well, hold on. Some of the people in the right-wing tent want to shove me in a gas chamber or, like, deport me from the country. And view me as like inferior, inherently inferior.
Who doesn't want you dead,
I don't know,
Benny
man.
Boy?
I kind of want to say fuck those people, and I think you should say it too. Yeah. And so if you scroll down here, you gotta watch. See, right up here's a here's a Groiper tweeting fucking Nick Fuentes.
Yes. Get back to work, Matt Walsh. Get back to work. Do not criticize Israel. Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ben Shapiro.
Now, by the way, the question is, where is the heart of Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh? Right, this other guy here is Andrew Klavan. He's also Jewish. He's more on Shapiro's side. But where is the heart of Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh? And look, on that point, I think they're terrified of Nick Fuentes. And I also think deep down they kind of agree more with Nick Fuentes than they do with Ben Shapiro. And so in a scenario like that, they're in a weird position where it's like, you know, hey, I'll try to split the dividends. I'll try to appease anybody. But right now, you can't really appease everybody because Ben Shapiro is telling you there's people in the right-wing coalition who want to fucking kill me and who are open anti-Semites and Nazis, and that's not cool. And then, you know, how are those two guys going to react to that, right? And they, like you saw, they constantly get shit from Nick Fuentes basically saying, like, look at you, fucking, you know, you're a little cuck to Shapiro and his network and, you know, their political project, and they're very pro-Israel. Are you guys also little bitches to Israel? And so you get this weird conflict that's bubbling up, and who knows when it's going to come to a head. We already saw that they already went through this, remember, with Candace Owens being part of the Daily Wire, and there was a big blow up over that. By the way, Candace interviewing Kanye was not the straw that broke the camel's back, even though Kanye was going full Nazi. No, the straw that broke the camel's back was when Candace said something against Israel. That's when they went, oh, how dare you. Yep. I was okay with the Nazi stuff, but the Israel stuff, a little too far. But, you know, it's at the point now where Shapiro can't ignore it because he tried to ignore it for a while, too. But when you have somebody like Nick Fuentes, who's a big voice on the right, and you have this growing Groiper problem on the right, you either take it head on or, you know, you welcome them into the coalition. And I think Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles would say welcome them in. And at this point, I think Shapiro would go, can't do that because they want to fucking kill me. And so here we are. So I think this problem is only going to get worse. This is only going to be a bigger issue on the right as time goes by because they're totally and utterly irreconcilable. The funny thing is, they actually do agree on literally everything else. They actually do agree down the line with, like, none of them give a shit about, you know, Trump being a warmonger. They all kind of support that. You know, none of them disagree with Trump and his fucking concentration camps and rounding up innocent people and ICE agents assaulting elderly couples and shit like that. They're all fine with that. They all agree with that. They all agree with Russ Vought and his fucking, you know, crusade against every government agency that does any half-decent work. They all agree. They all agree that, you know, black people need to know their place and shit like that. On every other issue, they're simpatico. But the one issue where they're not is you have Shapiro, who is 100% pro-Israel and wants to keep giving them billions of dollars and wants to cheerlead the genocide and wants the Israel lobby to be super powerful. And you have the Nazi wing that doesn't want that. And so, as Trumpism continues to fail and become less and less popular, you'll have more and more of a battle of what the future of MAGA looks like. Remember, Trump is also old and struggling with his health. And so at some point, he's not going to be with us anymore. And then you're going to have all these people, you know, vying for the crown to say, I represent the real MAGA, the real vision that Trump had for the future. And you're going to have the Marjorie Taylor Greene types fighting for that crown, and you're going to have, you know, the Ben Shapiro types fighting for that crown, and the Tucker types fighting for that, and the Nick Fuentes types fighting for that crown. And at some point, it's all going to come to a head. But they are probably way more, you know, apart than the left right now. Liberals and leftists are becoming one right now. Certainly the voters. You still have problems among the Democratic politicians, who many of them are still too corporate and too centrist and sold out to Israel as well, to one extent or another. But among the base, the liberals and the leftists are all becoming one. So we're kind of unified here on the left side of the political spectrum, from center left to far left. But on the right, I mean, it's
so much about
it's
far
ugly,
left.
and it's only going to get uglier. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and...
So, yeah. what do you got to say about the new MAGA Civil War hopefully breaking out?
Yes. Fight. I'm gonna get my popcorn.
And watch them grief each other like skeletons in Minecraft.
Yes.
Don't you love when they kill each other and then we kill the remaining one?
Yep.
So yeah, fuck all of you and hope you all suffer with each other some more. Because your side sucks ass and must be defeated at all costs. Yeah. But anyways, with that, what a funny episode it was, a whole bunch of funny stuff. But that's going to wrap it up here. So I hope you can serve as maul than rage on my Bday when you see this tomorrow and all that. So stay mad and see you all next time for episode 142.
See you then.